In our last video, we mentioned we were going to give a step-by-step guide on how to apply for express entry.
Yes.
Here we are today.
So guys, this video promises to be fully packed and we encourage you to stick around. Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Roslyn
And I'm Rachel.
We tagged this video Express Entry 101. So we thought about doing a video where you have all the information about how to apply for Express Entry from start to finish in one place, because I remember when we applied for our PR, there was a lot of information, and going through you have to go through different links to understand this information. So we have done it before and we said, okay, maybe we should share our knowledge, which is what we are doing today. So today guys, we are going to be taking you through a step-by-step process. So the goal for this video is basically, we are going to tell you what express entry is, the requirements for express entry, the required documents for express entry, and the program that we apply to. And the program that we apply to is basically federal skilled work permit. So that's going to be the focus of this video. So I encourage you to watch till the end, because I'm going to be talking about a practical example of a family of 4.
Starting off, we'll be talking about how express entry works. Express entry is used to manage immigration from skilled workers from all over the world. There are 3 programs managed under the express entry system, which is the Canadian
Experience class,
and then we have the federal skilled workers
permit program,
federal skilled worker program, and then we have the federal skilled trade program.
Our focus for this video actually is going to be the federal skilled worker program. There's a selection grid that the Canadian government has put out on their website, that out of this selection grid there are different categories of I think there are about 6 categories. You have the work experience, you have the language, your age, adaptability, and then what's the last one? Arranged employment in Canada. Under these selection factors, a maximum point is assigned to each of them, and out of 100 you're supposed to get 67 out of 100 points for you to be able to get into the express entry pool. So we would like to discuss these 6 selection factors further. So the first one I would like to talk about is the work experience. Under the work experience, for the federal skilled worker permit program, you can only apply if you have a job under the NOC code OAB. So this NOC codes is how Canada classifies all the kind of jobs that are available in the Canadian economy. NOC it's basically managerial positions. Then the NOC skill type A is professional jobs, and the last one on the list is the technical job groups.
NOC type B.
NOC type B, yes, thank you. The first step really is your job title. Sometimes you can't determine your NOC code from your job title, but you have to just dig deeper. But there are some job titles that they are basically there, where you can just pick your NOC code from it. But the Canadian government has said that for the federal skilled worker program, you have to ensure that the lead statement on the job description of the NOC code you are choosing, you have to ensure that you're actually doing that job
at the time of application.
Thank you. At the time of your application. After you pick your NOC, you have to make sure that in your letter of reference that your company is going to be providing to you, some of the job description that is in this lead statement of your NOC matches what your employer can vouch for you that you are doing. And also, this job, you have to have done it within the last 10 years. And it has to be continuous, it has to be full-time, and it has to also be paid. Very important. For work experience, you have a maximum of 15 points. So if you have 1 year work experience, you get 9 points. If you have 2 to 3 years work experience, you get 11. 4 to 5 years, you get 13. And 6 or more years, you get the maximum point, 15. Which is 15.
The next selection factor we'll be talking about is age. And the maximum points you can have for age is 12 points. And the best, not just the best, yes. It just favors some ages more than the other ages. Yes. We talk about ages from 18 to about 35.
Yes, they get the maximum points.
Yeah, they get the maximum points. On the bright side, you still get some points from other selection factors.
Yeah.
But, some people above 35 have higher work experience
where they can get
yes.
points. The next one we'll be talking about is education. So if you have not schooled in Canada and you own a foreign degree, the Canada government expects that you have an education credential assessment done. There are two things that you have to get done. One is the fact that the degree that you want to use for your application, the degree has to have been completed. And you have to do an ECA. Yeah, so there are designated institutions for that you can get your ECA done. Point for the ECA is also dependent on the kind of educational credential that you have. Let's look at this table, for instance. If you have high school diploma, you get 5 points only. So it's actually if high school diploma is your highest level of if high school diploma is your highest level of education, for instance, you get 5 points. If you have college certificate of 1 year, you get 15. College diploma gets 19 points. If you have a bachelor's degree, which is what most people have, so on this selection factor alone, you can get 21 points, which is good. But if you have a bachelor's degree and maybe you also have an HND, then you get 1 more point for that. So if you have a specialized degree, like the lawyers, the doctors, the pharmacy, they get an extra point, which is 23. And master's degree, if you have master's degree too, you get 23. Then if you have the highest level of education, which is the PhD, you get 25.
The next one we'll be talking about now for the selection factor is the language ability. The maximum point for language ability is 28, but allocated for English test, which is the IELTS, is 24, and for French is what we have the 4. Yes. For English test, you can either write the IELTS general or the CELPIP general. The minimum score for you that you can have for the CLB, that's the benchmark for the Canadian language, is 7, and the English test is valid for 2 years. Points per ability is according to what you get in your English test. For CLB 7, you get 4 points. For CLB 8, you get 5 points. For CLB 9 and above, I think you get 6 points, right?
Yes. The next selection factor we'll be talking about today is arranged employment in Canada. We have a maximum of 10 points for that selection factor. And arranged employment means that you have a valid job offer in Canada from a Canadian employer. The job has to be in a skill level OAB as well. And it has to be continuous full-time work, and it cannot be seasonal employment. Very last selection factor, which is the sixth one, is adaptability. So under the adaptability, we have like different assessment results that we can go. Let's go through it together, guys. If you have if your spouse did a language test and has a CLB 4 or higher, you can get 5 points. If you have studied previously in Canada, you can get 5 points for that. If your spouse has studied previously in Canada too, you get 5 points. If you've worked in Canada before on a work permit, you get solid 10 points. So your spouse, if your spouse or common law partner past work in Canada, they get 5. If you earned points in the previous selection factor, which is the arranged employment, you get 5 too. And the big one on the list is if you have a sibling or a relative in Canada. So
the first thing for anybody that wants to actually travel out of Nigeria, you must have your international passport.
Yes.
And when we're talking about international passport, you need the information basically on it.
Yeah, the data page.
Yes, the data page. Next up, we are going to be needing your English test results, educational credentials assessment. If you got an ITA from any province to apply, then you'll be needing that certificate also. And if it's also a job offer, you'll be needing your letter of your job offer letter from your employer, and most important from your Canadian employer, very important. And most importantly is the
proof of funds. We should note that these documents are just documents that you need to fill out your express entry applications. And you are not uploading any documents.
Not yet.
Yes, not until you are invited to apply for permanent residence. So the next set of documents will be listing, as seen on the screen now, is the documents you require for your application.
Yes, your PR application.
It's not so much, but police certificate, just to
medical
check your examination is part of it. And the medical exam, you have to do it with a approved panel physician. Do you need birth certificate if you have dependent children? You also need your marriage certificate if you declare that you're married, and other kind of certificate as highlighted above. You also need the proof of relationship of a relative to Canada if you have clicked that you have a relation.
Yeah, I remember when one of the additional documents that we got
Yes.
was to prove that I want you to be my representative here in Canada.
In Canada too, yes.
I got that.
I think proof of relationship to relative in Canada can be the relative's birth certificate and maybe their permanent residence card or
yeah. Any other documents you also feel is appropriate for your application, because you know there's an allowance to put your letter of explanation. Yes, letter of explanation, or just anything you feel can help the visa officer
to understand your situation.
Yes, exactly.
One document that we especially want to talk about is the proof of fund, because Canada wants you to sure that you can afford
to take care of yourself.
Basically, you can afford your living expenses when you arrive in Canada. So they also listed the funds required based on the number of family members in your family. This data we should also say is as of March 11, 2022. Let's talk about some of the requirements for proof of funds document. So the very first one on my list is that the fund has to be readily available to you. So if you own real estate property in Nigeria, because the funds are not it's
a form raw cash.
Yeah, it's a form of investment, but it's not liquid. You can't just sell it quickly to get cash from it. So they want cash at hand. The cash has to be in your bank account. It can be in form of investment, fixed deposit, as far as it's cash, but they don't want you having like real estate or maybe businesses that you feel that you will sell when you leave.
And I remember in my application I dropped my husband's statement too. So I had to also write it in my letter of explanation that the cash is readily available
and you have access to it.
Yes.
You can't borrow the money from bank to put in your account, because they need like 6 months of statements in some of for your application, right? And the money has to be there for 6 months. They want to see the history of the activity going on the account, right? Then also when you submit your proof of funds, you also have to provide an official letter, and these are from your bank, and these are the details that the Canadian government wants you to put in this reference letter. So some of the details that it has to be printed on the financial institution's letterhead. You have to include your name, and or police certificates, you submit scanned copies of the original certificate for everywhere you have lived from 18 years and beyond.
To finish up our presentation, we'll be showing you how many points you can have depending on your family size. The assumptions that we have made are right on the screen.
If I were this person, the first thing I'm going to do is to determine my NOC code, and we have gone ahead to determine the NOC code of this person. Let's call the person John Doe. Okay. Yeah, John Doe is good. So John Doe is a data analyst with an NOC code of 2172. So for work experience point, he gets 13. So if John Doe is 32 years old, he gets 12 points. So the principal applicant, his highest level of education, what is it? And has he done the ECA? Yes, he has done it. 1 point since he has a bachelor's degree. In the previous assumption that we mentioned, the person actually did IELTS, because with IELTS score of 6 is equivalent to a Canadian language benchmark of 7. So you need CLB 7 per language ability, but if you have 6 IELTS, that is equivalent to CLB 7. Next time I'm going to do, if I'm John Doe, is to see if I can get some points for adaptability. So since I have Jane Doe, my sister in Canada, I'm going to get 5 points, and I'm going to really tell my spouse to get a language language test done, so that you just have to get the point. Study too much if she's an English speaker, because all she needs is a CLB 4. So for that we get our 5 points, and if you calculate all these points together, we get 72 in total, and this helps you to enter the pool. So as soon as you enter the pool, there's another ranking system that is used, which is the comprehensive ranking system that is used to determine your point. We hope that you enjoyed watching our presentation today, and we have been able to achieve the goal of this video, which is to simplify the express entry process.
Thank you once again for watching to this extent, guys. If you have, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now, guys.